My family skipped my wedding. For my sister's baby shower days later, one fateful message exposed their fake love and tore their mask off. There's a moment just before you walk down the aisle where you're supposed to feel weightless, floating full of joy and jitters and the kind of nervous happiness that makes your hands shake even if you've got a solid grip on your future. I didn't feel that. I felt off, not because of the wedding. I love Maya, still do. We'd been together 6 years, and she'd seen me through every job change, haircut disaster, and emotional pothole I ever tripped into. I proposed with a ring I bought secondhand, and she said yes before I even finished the question. She was my person, but my family, they were not my people. Not really. Let me rewind a bit. I'm Nate, 32. Software consultant by day, recreational sandwich snob by night. Grew up in Michigan, middle kid. My older sister Heather has always been the golden child. Cheer captain valedictorian, got engaged in Paris under the Eiffel Tower. My parents cried when she graduated. When I did, they asked if I got sunburned during the ceremony. No joke. That's the photo caption under my graduation picture on Facebook, our tomato boy face with tears of joy. Heather and I were never close. She had a knack for making everything about her in a way that even seemed to impress people. Heather just has presence. My mom always said she walks into a room and you feel her. Yeah, mostly because she announces her arrival like a Beyoncé tour. Growing up, I was used to playing the background. Not in a bitter way, more like a supporting role in a family sitcom I didn't audition for. My younger brother Kyle, he was the oops baby who got away with everything because he was the last one, which made me what the filler episode. So when I got engaged to Maya and we started planning the wedding, I had one small hope. Maybe my family would show up for me this time. Not in a Heather's making a toast about herself way, just be present, spoiler alert. They RSVP'd, but their hearts were elsewhere. Specifically at Heather's baby shower, which for the record, she decided to schedule on the same day as my wedding reception. And when I say same day, I don't mean earlier that morning or the next town over. I mean same time, same city, 10 blocks away. Her reasoning, oh my God, Nate, it's just a brunch thing. It'll be done by the time your dinner even starts. Chill. Right. Because nothing says, relax, it's your big day, like watching your family double book themselves from mimosa hour and your vows. Maya tried to stay positive. Maybe it's just timing, she said. I'm sure they'll make it work. I nodded, but I knew this was not a they'll make it work family. This was a we'll make you work around Heather family. 2 weeks before the wedding, my mom texted, honey, we're so proud of you. Do you know what kind of cupcakes Heather's having yet? Maybe you could stop by for one before your ceremony. I stared at that text for a full minute, wondering if it was satire. No mention of my wedding menu. No, do you need help setting up? Just cupcakes. And a casual suggestion I pop into my sister's baby shower like a side quest on the way to my literal marriage. I didn't reply. I showed Maya. She laughed so hard she nearly cried. But I didn't because deep down I already knew how this was going to go, and it wasn't going to be in my favor. Wedding day. You'd think the biggest thing on my mind would be the vows or whether I'd cry when Maya walked down the aisle. Spoiler, I absolutely did. Like full ugly cry. But no. As I stood in the mirror tying and retying my tie, all I could think was how many seats on my side will be empty. The ceremony was small by choice. Maya and I wanted it personal, not Pinterest viral. 30 guests total. Her family flew in from Colorado. A dozen strong, all polite and genuinely excited. Her dad cried when she hugged him. Her mom kept sneaking photos with her iPad like a proud grandmother in training. And even her cousin with adult braces brought a thoughtful gift. Meanwhile, I was doing mental attendance like I was running inventory. Mom, Dad not there yet. Heather's still at brunch. Kyle, no reply since last night's bro. Can't wait for the open bar. Uncle Greg RSVP'd yes. He showed up in a Hawaiian shirt and then left right after the ceremony because he had to take his dog to therapy. That's not a euphemism. The dog has actual sessions. The ceremony itself was beautiful. Maya looked like she stepped out of a dream I didn't think I deserved. We said our vows under an arch Maya's brother built. The sun hit the windows just right, and for a moment it didn't matter who wasn't there. But then came the reception. The room was split in two, a long hall with tables on either side of the dance floor. Her side packed buzzing laughter, clinking glasses. One of her aunts brought a karaoke machine uninvited, and no one even minded. My side, 6 people. 2 were my college friends who barely knew anyone else. One was my old neighbor Doris, who brought a book because receptions can be long. The other 3 were co-workers who mostly just wanted cake and to see if Maya's sister was single. I stood in the middle of that room looking around trying to act like it didn't matter. But it did. It mattered because I had 32 years of "We'll be there for you" echoing in my head. And when the music started, all I heard was crickets on my side of the floor. The DJ played September by Earth, Wind and Fire, my pick. The dance floor filled up on Maya's side. Her cousin did the worm. Her grandma did the robot. Someone formed a conga line. And my mom, she was at Heather's baby shower posting photos of tiny shoes and an avocado-shaped cake with the caption, "The real celebration today. 2 hearts baby. Baby girl coming soon. No tag, no mention, not even a congratulations to my son. Just that." I stood behind the DJ booth pretending to check the playlist while scrolling her feed. Each photo hit like a slap. Heather posing with balloons that said, "Oh baby." Heather holding a fake champagne glass. Heather opening a gift labeled "Poop Explosion Survival Kit," while Mom laughed like it was the comedy event of the year. I didn't even realize I was holding my phone so tightly until Maya slid beside me and touched my hand. "They'll regret it one day," she said quietly. I didn't answer. Not because I didn't agree, but because just then my phone buzzed. Then again and again. At first I thought maybe someone realized they missed something important. That maybe finally one of them would say, "We're on our way." But no Dad. 12 missed calls, then 13, then 18. He was spamming me like a telemarketer during a full moon. By the time I glanced back down, it said 51 missed calls, 1 message, 1 word, urgent. And that was the exact moment the bass dropped in the room. The lights dimmed, and the whole reception, the one that should have been my moment, collided with whatever fresh chaos my family had stirred up. I put my phone on silent. I was done picking up their messes in a tux. I didn't look at the message again for a while. I pocketed the phone, took a deep breath, and turned back to the dance floor like I hadn't just been hit with a mental brick. My wedding reception was still happening barely, and I wasn't going to let a text from my dad derail it. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Maya and I had planned this night for months. She designed the place cards herself. The playlist was filled with our songs, our real ones. Not the rom-com soundtrack stuff, but the dumb tracks we'd laughed at in car rides. "Take on Me." Stacy's Mom, that one Bon Iver song that makes you cry and you don't know why. And yet through it all, I could feel the itch in my chest. That creeping awareness you get when a mess is about to spill and it's got your name written on the mop. Because if there's one thing I knew about my family, they never called 51 times for a real emergency. They called that much when the Wi-Fi didn't work, or when Heather lost her Instagram password, or when Dad needed help finding the HDMI port on his smart TV again. I waited until after the toast to look at the message again. "Urgent, call me now." That was it. Not congrats, not "we're so sorry," not even a basic "you okay," just that. I handed the phone to Maya while I stood with her on the edge of the dance floor. "If they call again," I said, "just toss it in the cake." She didn't laugh. She just kissed my cheek. We don't owe them anything. And she was right. But part of me still wondered, what if it was serious? What if someone had passed out from drinking too many baby-themed mocktails and the avocado cake turned out to be laced with peanuts? So during dessert, which only half the guests even stayed for, I stepped outside just to clear my head. And that's when I called him back. Ring, ring. Click. "About damn time," Dad answered, voice full of irritation, not concern. "Where the hell have you been?" I blinked. "Where have I, Dad? I'm at my wedding reception." "Where do you think I've been?" "You should have answered earlier." "I've been getting married. You know that thing you RSVP'd to and then ghosted." There was a pause, the kind that told me he wasn't even going to bother apologizing. Instead, he pivoted hard. "Heather's in labor." I stood still. "Wait, what?" "She went into early labor during the baby shower. We're at the hospital now. Maya's not picking up either. You need to come." I looked at my watch. It was 8:42 p.m. "You're calling me," I said slowly. "From the hospital where you took my entire family on my wedding night to tell me I need to come to Heather's delivery." Dad's voice went flat. "She's asking for you." I exhaled like I'd been holding air all day. She didn't even show up, didn't text, didn't acknowledge the wedding. And now she wants me to leave it. She's scared. I was scared walking into that empty room and seeing my side of the hall look like a freaking ghost town. "You're being dramatic," he snapped. "No," I said, suddenly calm. "I'm being honest." Then I added, "Put Mom on the phone." A shuffle. Then her voice tight, weepy. Nate, honey, we're so sorry about the timing, but she's our baby. You know how early labor can go. And she asked for you. I asked for you, I said. I asked both of you to be there just once to show up for me, and you didn't. You had the location, you had the date, and instead you went to a brunch with diapers and duck-themed cupcakes. She's giving us a granddaughter. I was giving you a daughter-in-law family, a moment. Silence. I could hear beeping in the background. Someone wheeling a cart, a nurse talking gently. It felt like I was intruding on something intimate, but not mine. Never mind. Never mind, you're still welcome to come, Mom said eventually. She'd love to see you. I stared out across the parking lot at the venue lights flickering like they were trying to stay cheerful for me. Yeah, I said. I bet she would, right after she erased the date of my wedding from her phone and replaced it with a baby shower invite. Nate, no. I said, I'm not coming, sweetheart. Don't be like this. I'm being like this, I said, because for once I'm choosing me. And then I hung up. After I hung up, I just stood there for a moment. Outside the venue, tie loosened, staring at the sky like it had something helpful to say. Spoiler, it didn't, but it was quiet. And after that phone call, quiet was the only thing keeping my head from exploding. When I went back inside, Maya looked up immediately. Her eyes flicked to my face, searching, reading me like she always did. I didn't say anything. I just shook my head. She nodded once. That was all we needed. Our wedding planner, bless her tired soul, had dimmed the lights, lit the candles, and served the dessert like it was still a full reception. Even though half the seats were empty and the dance floor looked like a Corona wedding throwback, there was a cupcake tower. Maya made it herself. No bakery, no fondant, just actual flavor and care. Chocolate raspberry lemon poppy seed, one rogue peanut butter banana because she's unhinged like that. She handed me one. Eat this, she said, or I swear I'll feed it to you aggressively. I smiled even if I didn't mean it all the way. I told them I'm not going, I said, sitting beside her. You sure? Yeah. I looked around. The room felt smaller now, less hollow because the people who were here, they mattered. My best friend Jared had managed to drag himself from Denver just for this. Maya's cousin Zoe was telling inappropriate jokes at table 3. Her mom was already planning a post-reception brunch as if trying to compensate for my family's collective emotional bankruptcy. I'm done chasing them, I said. Maya reached for my hand and held it like it was the only thing tethering her to earth. Then let's dance, just us. And we did alone at the floor, surrounded by flickering candles and plates that hadn't been touched on my side. It should have felt tragic, but it didn't. It felt clean, peaceful, free. The next morning, while we packed up gift bags and leftover cupcakes, I got a text from Kyle. The first message from him in 2 weeks. Yo, she had the baby. Everyone's freaking out. Where were you? No. Congrats, bro. No. Sorry I missed the wedding. Just that like I'd flaked on a potluck instead of, my own marriage. I stared at the screen, then flipped my phone upside down and slid it under a napkin. Later that day, Mom sent me a voice message. I didn't open it. Then came Dad's text. You should have been there. She asked for you. You really let her down. I didn't even know how to respond to that. I did. But everything I thought of included the word hypocrisy and some mild prison sentence language. Instead, I did what I hadn't done in years. I blocked them. Not forever. I wasn't making it dramatic. But for the first time, I gave myself permission to put the volume down on people who'd spent years treating me like background noise until they needed something. I turned back to Maya, who was currently arguing with a hotel concierge about whether or not we could take the rest of the centerpieces home. They're fake peonies, she was saying. No one's going to miss them. You're terrifying, I said, wrapping my arms around her from behind. I'm your terrifying, she said, grinning. And that was the only family I needed that day. We were barely 24 hours into being married when the family group chat lit up like it was the 4th of July and I'd personally set fire to the flag. First came the baby photos. Heather smiling from her hospital bed, clutching a 6-pound wrinkly potato in a pink hat. Then the comments, she's perfect, a new little angel in the fam. Look at those cheeks, so proud of you, Heather. 2 hearts, then came one from Mom. She was so brave, no epidural, just strength and love. Red heart, which would have been a lovely sentiment if the message directly before it wasn't from Maya, who finally snapped. And meanwhile, her brother got married to the love of his life in a room that looked like the DMV waiting area, just strength and neglect. Red heart, silence. I nearly choked on my cereal. It was 8:07 a.m., and I had no idea Maya had even unmuted the family group chat, let alone loaded a sarcastic nuke into it. Then Kyle responded, "Not the time, Maya." And Maya replied instantly, "When is the time, Kyle, between the gender reveal and the baby's first word? Or should we wait until you all forget our anniversary too?" Heather finally chimed in. "You seriously think this is about you?" I didn't reply. Not yet. I was curious to see how deep they dig themselves. Dad jumped in. "Can we please not ruin this moment with drama?" Mom added. "This was never about choosing sides. We love all our children equally." Ah, yes, the classic phrase spoken exclusively by parents who definitely provably do not. Maya turned to me. "Say something, please." So I did. "Mom, Dad, if you love us all equally, why were 27 people at Heather's shower and 6 at our reception?" No reply, so I followed up. "And don't say scheduling issue. You knew the date 6 months ago. You picked it. You RSVP'd to it." Still, nothing. It was like texting into a void of guilty silence and store-bought baby balloons until Heather, because of course it had to be her scent. "I'm sorry you felt unsupported." I blinked at the screen. Maya read it over my shoulder and groaned. Felt unsupported. Did she take a seminar in passive-aggressive gaslighting? So I replied, "It's not a feeling. It's a head count and a chair count and a missing toast and 51 missed calls that weren't congratulations." Then I muted the thread. We sat there for a second in that weird kind of quiet that feels like the air got heavier. Maya looked over at me. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. "Actually, yeah, I think I am." She held up her coffee mug. "To us, the ones who showed up for each other." "To us," I said, clinking hers. 2 hours later, a package showed up at our door. No return address, but I knew. Inside was a baby shower favor bag with a note that read, "Since you missed it, thought you'd still want one. Love, Heather." The bag included a pink candle, a tiny bottle of hand lotion, and a cookie shaped like a rattle that said, "It's a girl." Maya stared at it, then looked at me. "If I eat this cookie out of spite, do I go to hell?" "Only if you post it on Instagram," I said. So she took a bite on camera with the caption, "When you're so uninvited to your own family that you get party favors in the mail." 2 hearts. #not bitter, just married. It got 212 likes, mostly from her side. Later that night, I got a call from Grandma, not my mom's. Mom, Dad's mom. Grandma Jean, the only family member who couldn't travel because of her hip surgery. She called to say she was proud of me, that she saw the photos online, that Maya looked like a Disney princess who could win a bar fight, that she had printed one and put it on her mantle. "I raised your dad better," she said. "But you know men." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it reminded me that not every branch on the family tree had dry rot. She paused, then added, "If they tried to guilt you, let them sit in it. That baby's going to get showered with love for the rest of her life. But what you did yesterday, that was real. Thanks, Grandma." "And don't tell anyone I said this," she whispered, "but your cupcakes kicked Heather's cake's butt." So naturally, they tried to apologize the only way modern families know how, with a Facebook post. 3 days after the wedding, I woke up to a tag notification from my mom. I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. Maya sat up next to me and muttered, "Please tell me it's not a gender reveal recap slideshow." Worse, it was a photo collage of Heather holding her newborn alongside a photo of me and Maya at the altar, cropped so tight my head was almost missing. The caption, "What a weekend our family was doubly blessed. A beautiful new marriage and a precious new life. Congrats to our amazing kids. Love multiplies. 2 hearts. #proud parents, #wedding weekend, #double joy." Double joy. I read that line 5 times, hoping it would become satire if I stared long enough. I showed Maya. She didn't speak. She just did that slow blink that says, "Do I have to be the one to burn down the internet, or will you handle it?" The post had 50 likes. 22 were from Heather's friends. 4 were from people I didn't even know. 1 was from a distant cousin who commented, "Wait, Nate got married this weekend, cue the clown music." And if that wasn't enough, the comments under the post were even worse. "Beautiful couple. Congrats, Heather. Such a special time for your family. Baby girl is going to have the best auntie." Auntie, no one even mentioned Maya. The bride. The literal reason I now own a rice cooker, 12 throw pillows, and a dozen monogrammed bath towels. The only person who did tag me, Grandma Jean. "Proud of you, Nate. Your side of the hall may have been empty, but your heart wasn't." Blue heart. That one made me tear up. She turned to me and whispered that post. It made me feel like a prop. "You weren't? I said instantly. I know, she said, but I feel like I got edited into someone else's celebration. She pulled the covers over her head. It's like they're trying to turn our wedding into a baby shower after party. That line stayed with me because it wasn't just how she felt. It was how I'd felt growing up, forgotten crop tacked onto moments that weren't mine. I remembered a birthday when I turned 9. Heather threw a tantrum because I got a Game Boy and she didn't. So my parents made me let her open my gift for the photo. I'm literally in the background of my own party picture. Blurry while she smiles, holding the gift she didn't buy, didn't want, and didn't care about. Some things don't change. I didn't reply to the Facebook post. I didn't like it. I didn't even text them about it. I just logged off and spent the morning organizing our wedding gifts, which were almost exclusively from Maya's people, except for one. My parents had sent us a box labeled Honeymoon Starter Kit. It included a $25 Olive Garden gift card, a wedding card addressed to Nathan and Molly, and a single wine glass with bride written on it in glitter. No groom glass, no note, just vibes. Maya held it up. So Molly, huh? She's going to be thrilled, I said. We laughed, but it wasn't the good kind. It was the if I don't laugh, I might scream kind. Later that evening, Maya and I went out for drinks with her cousin Zoe and her wife Lauren. 2 women who had known us for years and shockingly managed to show up to the wedding without overlapping it with a prenatal spa day. I saw the Facebook post, Zoe said. I groaned. I'm still recovering from the secondhand cringe. Double joy. Lauren raised her eyebrows. More like discount loyalty points. More like BOGO betrayal, Maya muttered into her drink. They both burst out laughing. And for the first time in days, so did I. Because here's the thing. When you grow up thinking family means obligation, it's easy to forget that family can also mean choice. We didn't have Heather's crowd. We didn't have applause or a baby centerpiece. But we had each other. And a few ride-or-die people with sarcasm snacks and backup wine. Honestly, that was enough. A week after the wedding, Maya and I were back in real life. If real life meant unboxing waffle makers and writing 36 thank you cards. We hadn't spoken to my parents since the Facebook fiasco until I got a text from Dad. Family dinner Sunday, be there. No question mark. No, would love to see you. Just a flat command like he was calling a staff meeting and I was expected to bring the Q3 updates and mashed potatoes. Maya glanced at the message and said, if you want to go, I'll come with you, but only if I get to wear something intimidating and say, interesting, after every sentence your mom says. That almost made it worth it. But no, I didn't want her anywhere near that dinner. I'll handle it, I said. So Sunday evening I drove over to my parents' house, the same house I grew up in, the one with Heather's honor roll certificate still hanging in the hallway and exactly 0 pictures of me past age 15. I knocked, even though I knew I didn't have to. Mom opened the door like she'd been waiting all day. Hi, honey, she said, all soft and sugar. I stepped inside. The dining table was set like it was Thanksgiving. Fancy plates, candles, even cloth napkins folded into swans. They were trying, but it felt like a play. Heather was already at the table, baby in arms, looking serene and smug. Kyle sat beside her, probably regretting every life decision that led to this moment. Dad stood at the head of the table. Glad you came, he said. I sat down. For a few minutes, we pretended to be normal. Chicken potatoes, baby burps. Then Dad cleared his throat and said, so we wanted to talk. Oh boy, here we go. Mom folded her hands. We know you were hurt by how things went, by how you all acted, I corrected. She blinked. It was never our intention to hurt you. I nodded slowly. You know what else wasn't your intention showing up? Heather rolled her eyes. Oh my God, are we still doing this? Yes, I said. We're still doing this because I still wake up thinking about that empty room, about how it felt to walk into the most important day of my life and realize my family had chosen cupcakes and a diaper cake instead. Kyle muttered something like drama, but I didn't care. I looked at my parents. You could have rescheduled the baby shower. You could have shown up even if just for the ceremony, but you didn't. And then you had the audacity to act like we were the problem for being upset. Dad leaned forward. We're here now. Can't we move forward? Sure, I said. But you have to understand something first. I pulled out a folded piece of paper from my jacket. Maya had encouraged me to write it. It was the wedding speech I never gave, the one I'd scrapped the night before because I thought it would be too emotional, too personal. I unfolded it and read it. When I was a kid, I used to think love meant showing up sitting in the stands at a baseball game, coming to the science fair, even if my volcano didn't erupt celebrating birthdays without conditions or corrections. I didn't get a lot of that growing up, but somehow I never stopped hoping. And then I met Maya, and for the first time, someone showed up, not out of obligation but choice. She showed up for my worst days, my quiet victories, my frozen pizza dinners, and my "this job sucks" rants. And on our wedding day, she stood beside me even when the other side of the room was nearly empty. Because love doesn't just say "I'm proud of you." It says, "I'm here." So this speech, it's not just for the guests who came, it's for the ones who stayed and the one who never left. When I looked up, the room was silent. Heather was scrolling her phone. Mom was dabbing her eyes. Dad just stared. "I wrote that for our wedding," I said, folding the paper again. "Didn't get to read it. Too busy fielding calls from the maternity ward." I stood up. "Dinner was great, thanks. But this doesn't fix anything." Then I walked out. 2 days after the dinner, I got a text from Heather. "You're seriously acting like we ruined your entire life over one missed event." I didn't reply. She followed up. "You're a grown man crying over chairs. Get over it." Still no reply. A few hours later, Maya came home from work with a giant grin and a paper envelope. "Guess who sent us an actual letter?" she said, waving it. It was from Grandma Jean. Inside was a card that read, "Your wedding was beautiful. The pictures don't lie. Love was present even if some people weren't. P.S. I left a little something inside." Tucked behind the card was a check for $5,000 written out to Nathan and Maya for the future they build, not the one others skipped. No strings, just support. We cried a little, laughed a lot, and then we booked our honeymoon somewhere far sunny and wonderfully Wi-Fi free. Before we left, we got one more notification, an invite to Heather's welcome baby brunch. Maya looked at it, rolled her eyes, and tapped decline. "Too soon?" she asked, smirking. I kissed her forehead. "Too late."